All right, welcome back to another episode of Two Plain Sports. Day after the spring game, we're gonna recap the spring game later this week. We're gonna go rewatch it. Uh, a lot of excitement, so hard to remember everything just the day after. So we'll rewatch it over the next couple of days. In our next video, we'll recap, the game specifically and what we thought. Obviously, a lot of good stuff. Dion Brooks really stood out in the game, but today we're gonna talk about some commitments. Recently picked up transfer from SMU. Looks like we're about to get another two guys, so we'll talk about who those might be. And a few crystal balls have been popping off this morning, so we'll talk about that as well. Before we get too far into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. Follow us on all social media. If you prefer audio, it's always on Spotify and Apple Music, so make sure to follow us there as well. All right, so let's start with the guy we for sure know is going to be part of this team going into the 2024 season. SMU transfer interior offensive lineman, aka center, Branson Hickman, 6'3", 294 according to SMU's website. Nearly 300 pounds. Wouldn't be surprising if they try to beef him up to a little bit to that 300-pound mark if they feel is necessary. Very talented guy. Started there for 2 full seasons, and then as a redshirt freshman, he started for 7 of the 9 games he got to play in. So definitely someone with a lot of experience, which is what we know this coaching staff loves to get out of the transfer portal. Brandon, what do you think about Branson and what he could add to what looked like a really good offensive line unit in the spring game?
Yeah, I mean, the line did hold up pretty well in the spring game. It's a spring game, so take it what it is. But it was cool to see them play well because that's an area that we're all concerned about a little bit. But Branson Hickman, it's a big time kid. 6'3", 300, 33 career starts, which is super helpful, super beneficial. He was a second team All AAC last year, third team in 2022. He's a guy that I think already had 517 snaps last year. Didn't give up a single sack. So, I mean, all those numbers are really good. He's got the experience. I expect him to get to campus and compete right away with Troy Everidge to be that starter going into the season. And I don't think there's any reason why he can't win it. He's a guy that is obviously going to be expecting to play. I mean, he's done it his whole career. So I think it's going to be a big one for you.
I agree. And definitely seems like he'll more than likely be the starter with what you mentioned, him being an experienced guy at that position. Someone that is really going to push him, though, which is interesting to say, is redshirt freshman Joshua Bates. I think he looked really good in the spring game yesterday. I mean, really, as a 19, 20-year-old, he looks like if his number was called tomorrow, if Branson would not have committed to Oklahoma, he would have definitely pushed for the starting position at the center spot. This puts OU in a better position though going forward because now you have an experienced 1-year starter in Branson, and then you've got hopefully Joshua there for 2 seasons after that with someone that looks promising, kind of like a Jake Sexton and Jake Taylor, where in the limited snaps they got the first 2 years at Oklahoma, they looked impressive, but they obviously got to learn and got a lot stronger over the last couple of seasons, and now Jake Sexton and Jake Taylor might get a lot of playing time over the next couple seasons as they're now going into their redshirt sophomore seasons. So similar outlook for Joshua. Big big get for Oklahoma there for the offensive line unit, and Coach B is doing what Coach B does. There's a lot more guys for him to recruit, but that right there kind of solidifies the unit for next season, I think.
Real quick shout out for Joshua Bates too, because during that spring game, I'm sure you saw it. There was like a swing pass or something that went on, and running back got hit a little bit late, a little bit hard. Too hard for the spring game, and he was the first one over there to kind of get in that defender's face and be like, "What the hell are we doing, man? This is a spring game," and I thought that was pretty cool to see.
Was that Boganowski that did that?
I think it was Boganowski, yeah,
Yeah.
but old Joshua Bates was not a fan, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the game live, but he was fun to watch. Definitely someone where probably back off a little bit in the spring game, but in live action, he's gonna be really fun to watch once he gets some playing time for Oklahoma. All right, next guy. This one, it's like I'm gonna count it as half of a commitment. And we're going pretty far in the future here. 2027 defensive lineman Zane Rowe out of Denton Guyer, Texas. Very familiar high school. class of 2027, as I mentioned, 6'5", 220 pounds according to 24/7. Pretty big guy
Yeah,
for how young he is. I think like 15 years old. Like he doesn't have his driver's license yet. Might be getting his learner's permit soon, and is
yeah,
is
it's
already potentially committing to a university. Now we're counting this as a half because there's not been like a big announcement on social media, but he does have his Instagram handle changed to OU commit. Uh, so obviously that's kind of firsthand source right there. Obviously he's not going to lie about where he's committed to. It'd be,
exactly.
he might back off, but for now, Zane Rowe, someone that has a very high likelihood of being a 5-star when his class is ranked, because I don't think anyone in the 2027 class is ranked, if any. Maybe a couple.
No, yeah, no, he's 100% going to be a 5-star. He's like you said, class of 27, 15 years old. He already has like almost 30 offers. By the time it's all said and done, he's going to have everybody. I think he's already got the Georgia, obviously in Oklahoma. He's got a lot of powerhouses. He's going to get every single powerhouse is going to be involved in this one. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think he's going to put that in his Instagram if it means nothing. But at the same time, it kind of means nothing at this point because it is the class of 2027, and he's going to probably take visits and do all sorts of things like a kid does when they're being recruited. So this can shift and change and bounce around so many different times. This is so far down the line. But I mean, to be 6'5", 220 at 15 is freaky. That dude can probably go into a bar and no one's gonna question it. They'll be like, oh yeah, he's clearly of age. Like he's huge. But it's pretty cool. It's definitely pretty cool. Hopefully it does work out and he stays Oklahoma's way. And I mean, I just can't wait to see what that kid's gonna look like in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and that I think that's going to be the biggest thing to look at for Zane here over the next couple of years because I mean we're not even into the real big part of 2025 recruiting. I mean, we're still 2 years removed from when his class is going to get all the pageantry of official visits. So him again, we're counting this as half, but it seems like he's committed to the University of Oklahoma. Him committing this far in advance really says something about one, his experience at Oklahoma. I'm assuming his ex teammates, because or I guess they might have not even been teammates. Guys, he outside of Eli Bowen, I think he would have been teammates with Eli, but might know Jackson and Peyton. But those connections, that pipeline is getting built. It didn't Geyer. I think that you can at least say safely committing so early, especially with the expectations that this staff has for commits with you're not taking any visits, after you make the decision to be all in with Oklahoma. It is going to be interesting if he at some point decommits, but it wouldn't be, while we would hate it, I don't think it would be surprising because we are so far removed from when he will get a lot more attention because like you said, he already has the Georgia offer. He's got the Texas offer. He's got Texas A&M. I think Bama's the last of like the major SEC powerhouses that isn't on his offer list, but I'm sure that'll be coming very
They'll
soon.
come.
And
They'll
maybe it's
come.
just not
Yeah,
listed here yet, but yeah, this kid's gonna be highly sought after. So if Oklahoma does secure as expected, they're gonna be fighting for that commitment all the way until he puts pen to paper, just like they would any other defensive lineman, especially one of what he projects to be. But Zane committing early also speaks a lot to how Chavis and Bates are building connections with these guys super early on in the process here.
I agree.
All right, next guy. Crystal balls have been flying in for him for quite some time now, but definitely after the spring game seems like it's heating up more and more. Oklahoma, OK Preps guy from Weatherford, Oklahoma, CJ Nixon, top 100 player in the 2025 class, defensive lineman, has been receiving a lot more 5-star or a lot more crystal balls here to land at Oklahoma. I think it's one that Oklahoma's really been pushing for, outside of Nate Roberts, who they unfortunately didn't land, for whatever reason. CJ has been probably priority one outside of Nate Roberts for Oklahoma now for quite some time. Locking him in at that point really just puts Tristan Haynes, the corner, also in the state of Oklahoma. Can they secure? I think at that point it'd be 5 of the top 6 players in the state, and they're not just in-state top players. They're nationwide top players, all of them being top 300 players in the country. Always good to keep the in-state kids at home. But CJ here projects to be very, very good because of his athleticism. Brandon, what do you think about CJ and what looks to be a guy that's going to stay in the state and join the Sooners and the rest of the guys in that 2025 class?
Definitely hope so. I mean, he's the number one player in the state for a reason there. He's a guy that's going to get a lot of offers too. He's got a lot going on. You mentioned his athleticism. The dude can bring it over there at Weatherford. He plays receiver too for them. He had like 600 yards, 8 touchdowns last season. And then on defense, he had 5 forced fumbles, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. Like the dude is, he's definitely making plays out there in Weatherford. He's going to have the same knock that anybody that comes from a small school does, is the level of competition thing. But, you know, it worked out with Ethan Downs. I think it's going to work out with Danny Okoye. You know, it is important to, you know, get that good competition in high school, but you can't really help where you're from, where you live at that age. So he's just gonna, I mean, he's doing what he should do against his opponents. He's making plays. There's a lot to like there.
Yeah, and with the ranking stuff, like you always gotta take into account for like some of the scouts fall in love with a prospect's build more so than the stats they're putting up on the field. Like we saw it, someone that Oklahoma didn't get to land, but in Dylan Edwards, running back that plays for Colorado now, he had crazy numbers in high school, was like a 3-star when Oklahoma first offered him. Right when he started making all his commitment decisions, he ended up being a highly rated 4-star for the position and is pretty good. You know, not amazing, but decent freshman year, I would say, regardless of what you think of Colorado and that football program. But CJ Nixon, I think the biggest knock on him outside of what you said, maybe his weight. We're currently listed at 220. I know Zane, the guy we just talked about, similar weight, but they're also 2 years apart in age. So you would expect a guy that's a little bit older to maybe weigh a little bit more, but he also plays basketball, so he's got to stay lighter throughout the year.
He's got 3 offers there in basketball too. I mean, the dude kind of does it all there. I mean, his athleticism that you talked about, it's there. And with the weight thing, to being 220, you know, the basketball thing definitely, you know, he's got to keep it down a little bit. But if he does decide to play football at Oklahoma, which it's looking like, old Jerry Schmidt can fix that.
Oh yeah, and once he's not running as much, that weight will just naturally add on because the cardio will get down to short bursts. You know, defensive lineman style and not basketball player where he's running 6-7 miles per game. Yeah. It'll be more like 2. But and really quick twitches. So probably going to be like 240, 250 by the time he gets through his freshman year of college, wherever it is, or seeming like it's going to be Oklahoma.
He's playing receiver too, so I mean, he's running a lot. He's doing things.
Yeah, super athletic guy. Moving on to the last guy, someone else has been picking up a ton of crisp balls for Oklahoma, and someone we have never talked before today. 4-star corner, Courland Gillery, out of Spring, Texas, 2025, listed at 6'1", 170 on 24/7. Dude is long, kind of the prototypical corner build, this more modern corner where he's just really lengthy. Someone that probably if he was born 10 years ago, was going to be a wide receiver and not so much a corner. But Oklahoma's clearly made a big impression over the weekend on him, and Kevin Sperry did tweet out 3 different times about a commitment, 2 of them being in 2025 class. So could be that it was both CJ and Courland that made that move. Yeah,
I mean, hopefully he's got that 6'1", 170 is a really good frame to play corner in the SEC. He's going to be going against some big athletic receivers out there. Whether the Georgias, Alabamas, Tennessees, they all got him. Ole Miss, there's going to be some really athletic dudes. Texas even, you know, there's some dudes out there. So he's got a good frame. His numbers make him look to be a ball hawk. I haven't really seen too much of his tape, but you know, we had 7 pass breakups and an interception. So he's clearly all over the ball, 29 tackles. I think he can kind of do a little bit of everything there. Good frame would be good for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I did get to watch some of his tape earlier today. And for the frame that he's got, you would think he might get pushed around by someone that could be a little bit bigger. He's a corner that does play pretty physical. good hips, doesn't really get lost too much there, or isn't relying on just his speed to take over and catch up to receivers in high school. He does stick to them pretty well. So that would speak to probably why his stats are what they were for last season. I think this is someone that if he has a good senior season and has some good camps over this next summer, might be, currently he's ranked in 24/7's composite as the number 31 corner and number 364 player in the country. I think he definitely has the opportunity to get up to, top 250, maybe even top 200. That's kind of a big jump, especially for someone that hasn't been scouted a lot, but all you need is one really good season. We saw it with PJ. We've seen it with other guys. If you got one really good offseason going to your senior year and a good senior season, you can jump from a 3-star to a 5-star. Corner, probably not so much, but definitely has the opportunity to be a highly rated 4-star for his position, for sure.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that is everything we have for this video. Brandon, any more thoughts or end of video challenge?
So for end of video, we started the show with Branson Hickman. His first name is Branson, so I'm gonna roll with that because I assume people that listen to the show, or some of them, we're in the Oklahoma area, the Texas of the world. I'm sure most of you have been to Branson, or a lot of you have been to Branson. What is your favorite thing to do in Branson?
All right. Let us know what you love to do in Branson. I'm a big fan of what's the lake called that we went to last time?
Table Rock.
Table Rock.
No, we went to
no, what we did go there.
Freezing.
I can't remember. Yeah, the freezing lake nearby.
There's a real cool lake there, and I can't think of the name, but yeah.
It was absurdly cold. That was a great time. Let us know what you love to do in Branson. Let us know what you think about Branson, the person, Zane, and CJ, Courland, what they could be for Oklahoma. Thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, follow us on all social media. And as I said earlier, if you prefer audio, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we're posting on there as well. So make sure to check it out. Appreciate it. We will see you next time.